Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaosium. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to Masks of Nyarlathotep in our China chapter. As we're at the top of the show, we'd like to thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you'd like to check out what we have to offer on Patreon, you can over at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. We'd encourage you to find us on YouTube and subscribe there to help us make our push for 1,000 subscribers. We'd greatly appreciate it. And now we'll start with the proper introductions to my right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I have a new outlook on life.
That is one way to put it. To Miss O'Shea's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and we are all stuck in a room together.
You are stuck in a room together, a rather bloody one, made sort of bloody by the man at the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'll be playing Jack Doyle, and I have yet again been run through.
Indeed. It's just sort of a thing that happens to you. To Jake's right.
This is Lonnie, and I am playing Robert Drummond, and I am currently not on the Love Boat.
Not currently. To Mr. Drummond's right.
Hi, this is James, and I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tattenbach. And at this point, I think I should probably invest in corks for Jack. And really, sutures is too much work.
It would probably be cheaper. And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex playing Sam Baron, who thought these things smelled bad on the outside.
Ooh, excellent. So we are in the Missing Stasi formation this evening. And I'm certain, though, we'll hear from Miss Fairchild at some point in the near future. So we're going to raise the curtain tonight back on the ship. So this room, which it looks like at one point likely doubled as sort of a crew eating space, maybe a common mess sort of area, is now truly a bloody mess, as many of the former crew have lost their life here in this room, and of course in and around the deck.
Assuming, have I gotten to patching up Jack yet?
No, you're in the dinghy.
Oh, that's right. I'm in the dinghy. That's right.
You purposely stayed behind.
Because I hate boats.
Indeed.
Therefore, I opted for the smaller, more dangerous boat. Excellent call.
Yes. Which is why I said good luck. So that's where you're at. You're on a boat.
This thing's still picking up speed.
Mm-hmm.
That means there's got to be more of the crew, right?
You can hear them outside. You can hear them thumping along, running up and down the sides of the deck.
If we're going to take this ship, we need to move.
Yeah, if we stay here, we're going to get pinned down.
I was watching the door, and I believe people were heading toward the, whatever the hell is that way. I'll point over my shoulder.
So at this point, just for a out of character clarity's sake, Mr. Drummond and Sam are closest to sort of the entry door that you came in. And then Jack, after having been skewered a little, you're a little bit behind Sam and off to one side. Miss Lane is in a shooting position at the back of this room, and then behind her is where Miss O'Shea is, sort of in this small hallway that leads deeper into this part of the vessel.
Why don't we move this table over, barricade the door, and then keep moving?
Mr. Drummond had already done that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
He'd already barricaded the space, and that's, you think, what might be keeping them from getting easy access into this portion of the space. They are used to that being sort of just easy access, immediately open, and now there's an enormous table barricading this. They don't really know what to do.
Well, then let's get moving.
Okay. Where will you be going?
Toward the bow.
All right. So you're going to be coming directly at Ms. O'Shea. Who is seemingly doing what?
I was watching the other door.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm just making sure nobody busts through that door, because if they do, then they're going to be single file because of how narrow the hallway is.
Certainly. Make me a spot roll. You too as well, Doctor. Two totally independently different things, of course.
83 over 80. I will actually spend the 3 luck to make that, since I'm out here on the boat.
You're going to spend the 3 luck to make that a success?
To make that a success, yes.
Okay, very good.
Actually, no, you know what? I won't, considering what my luck is at.
Oh.
I don't need that.
Understood.
I don't need it that bad.
Very good. We'll strike that from the record.
Thank you.
That was an 81 over 75, but I will spend the 6 points to make it a success. 75 over 75.
Okay. You notice that there is a part of the floor in one of these rooms that looks like it's a natural trapdoor.
Oh. Who's by me?
Lillian is the closest, and it looks like Jack and Sam may be coming closer back towards you at this point.
I guess I'll turn to Lillian and then point down at the floor. I think we got a trap door here.
Do we want to try to get it open?
Yeah, can you cover me? This didn't go well last time.
Sure.
And then I'll see if I can find like the handle or how it opens, how it lifts.
It's actually not hard to see the handle at all. This isn't a secret door by any means.
Oh, okay.
It's a trapdoor in the sense that it's on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Lift it open.
Can we see anything down there?
You can absolutely see something down there.
A monster?
No.
Oh.
It's the barrel of a gun.
Oh, nice.
It goes off.
Of course it does.
Now.
What do you want, Dex?
No, that's not the way it works in Call of Cthulhu. In fact, you can't make a normal dodge roll to dodge gunfire. But what you can do, should you so choose.
Well, I mean, because I was prepared for something down there.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be surprised.
Hence, I asked her to cover me.
I thought you meant the door behind you, but I mean, I can cover you down there too.
Try and catch it with your teeth. It's quite impressive.
Careful. She might. So you can, since you are aware that you're going to be fired upon, you can dive for cover.
Okay.
Which is a separate action. So if what you're going to do is dive for cover, you forfeit your next attack, right? And so what that means is that when it comes around in rounds for you to do something, you're basically collecting yourself off the floor.
That's fine. She's faster than I am.
Okay. A gun goes off in an enclosed space, and all of you who are on the boat hear that. Doctor, you hear it from the dinghy out back because there had been sort of this din of noise, and then all of a sudden there's a gunshot out of nowhere. And again, your blood pressure spikes.
Yeah. Doc sighs and begins reeling himself in with the dinghy rope towards the ship.
Now remember, it's just a climb roll for you to get where you need to be.
Yeah. Not with a 93.
Now, you have a bonus die on that because of the rope that's attached.
Ah, okay. Good. Hey, a 23. So I guess I'm spending 3 points of my luck tonight either way.
Indeed you are. Congratulations, Doctor. You will join the folks on the back of the boat in a couple of rounds. Lillian, you have a rifle in hand.
Yep.
And you have the highest dexterity. How would you like to respond to watching Miss O'Shea lift the trapdoor and then she just completely rolls onto her back and belly and like into another part of the floor space here as this gun goes off?
I'd like to go point my own rifle down in that hole and tell them to lower their gun.
Okay. It's a split second decision, so it's touch tap.
I'll just shoot them.
That's the kind of decision I like. I'll just shoot them. That's decisiveness.
I mean, they came out shooting at my friend.
They did.
That immediately makes him an enemy.
Okay.
All right, I got a 42 out of 65.
Okay. Roll damage.
Oh, so then I got a 13.
13 damage. Very good.
Ouch.
You shoot. Another weapon goes off. This time you see it go off. See Lillian point down in the hole and pull the trigger of the rifle immediately. And you hear a pretty disgusting sort of gargly man sound. Someone screams, but there's way too much choked throat in it. It's not right, Jack. It's just not right.
Tain't right.
So Dex order will drop to Mr. Drummond after that, because I believe he's just 5 points higher than Sam is.
I'm headed toward the front, where I assume that the controls are.
Indeed, you'll have to pass this space to get to the controls.
Yep.
You move past Miss Lane and Miss O'Shea, and you enter a very small, sort of thin hallway that leads to the front of the boat. Sam?
Yes, I believe I will shout behind us, because I don't know who's responding yet and everything's happening all at once. And then seeing Lillian take position and point a rifle down a chute, I will, so as not to end up in the line of fire, I guess dive over and take position near Miss Lane's ankles and point my shotgun down the hole and fire as well.
Okay, so that's rather it's a rather interesting maneuver there, but I'll allow it.
Thank you. And then I shoot the gun. The hardest of successes, 23 under 74.
Indeed, very good. Roll damage.
How close is my target?
I will say, given the maneuver, it's probably going to be unlikely that you're going to get any sort of additional die, because you'd probably be at penalty for basically fleeing yourself to slide into position to get the shotgun down there.
Sure, I'm just asking how close I am so I know which dice to roll.
2d6.
Okay.
Given the distance.
So that's 3 plus 2? 1. 3 plus 1. So 4.
Alakablam.
I would like to empty the second barrel, if I may.
You may. There is another there's another person down there.
Do I see them like in the muzzle flash?
Yeah. But without knowing that they were down there, you couldn't have taken a disadvantage die to give yourself another trigger pull per se to direct it at them.
Sure, I'm just squeezing.
No. Squeeze away.
Hard success, 35 under 74.
Give me a disadvantage die on that.
Okay. I'll take so it's a 2. So, all right. So 35 under 74.
Now roll damage.
Everybody's confused except for everybody, but not me.
You reticulate your splines and you catch another person. All right, very good. So, Jack.
It's kind of busy over there. I'm going to continue to watch the door that we came through. Mm-hmm. Keep it covered and back up towards the hallway.
Okay. An excellent position. So you're essentially taking an overwatch of that. So as you do see two figures. Again, the important part to remember is that the space outside the ship is dark. This area here is not very well lit either, but you do in the light see figures beginning to push their way through into the space. So they would have barrier between you and them at this point. It looks like they'll probably breach that next round.
Okay.
Because you're just going to push through the table. So, top of the round. Which is going to be Miss Lane. Miss Lane, there is a Sam at your feet firing shotgun rounds down into the bottom of the ship.
Okay. Is he still shooting?
He's mid.
Oh, he's mid-shoot.
I assume the breach is opening on the shotgun and he's stuffing more shells into it. You do still see someone down there.
But he's shooting, so I can't jump down anyway. So, while he's shooting.
It would be very dangerous for you to jump down right now. Just the physics of it would be bad.
Oh.
There is a ladder that you could go down.
It's a lot deeper than.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, Sam's already shooting, so I think it might be overkill if I continue shooting.
Is it though?
Is there still one person down there?
Overkill is underrated.
There's more than one.
I mean, I guess I'll shoot at the person that's still standing then.
Yeah, I mean, it appears anyway. Like he shoots a couple times, and in the barrel flash, you can tell that the one person that's down there is also armed. So
okay,
there is an intention that violence will be done to your person at some point.
All right, I will shoot them or try. Got a 70 out of 65. I will spend 5 luck to make that a success.
Fantabulous. Roll damage.
A 16.
Okay. So while this person, this thing down there was trying to find cover to shoot back at you, you basically shoot them in the back and they flop on the deck.
And as I'm shooting them and they fall down, because I see them, do I see them fall down?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Stay on the ground and we won't shoot anymore.
Very good. So Sam, from your position, you watch Miss Lane shoot this thing in the back and it falls over unconscious. Like it flops pretty bad down there.
Amazing. Did I see the other one still? Or can I still see them?
This is you have exterminated one and she has exterminated the other.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I had dropped the other one or not.
Yes. It was hard to tell in the flash and the muzzle, and
I would like to I'll yell up at Lillian, who's standing above me. Keep your gun on that area down there, and I will slide down the ladder.
Okay, you slide down the ladder. Sam disappears from view.
And I will get my torch out.
Okay. You wheel a shotgun and torch in hand. I will get back to you in a second. Mr. Drummond, you get to the front of the ship, or the bridge, as it were.
Yep.
There's really not much here. It's not very extravagant. There's the wheel, obviously. There are mechanisms, a throttle, you think, maybe. It's got some writing on it. There's also an awful lot of like barnacles that have grown here. It's a little strange to see this much, seaweed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely regular old equipment here if you know how to drive a diesel-powered ship. If not, then you've got the controls.
Are there any exits?
Mm-hmm. There's an exit to your left. Goes out onto the deck.
I would like to block or lock that.
You can lock it. Not a problem.
Then I want to look at the controls and see what they say.
How much mechanics do you have? How much mechanical skill do you have?
Not a bit.
Okay, so you base. And then any sailing in your background as far as skills go?
Nope.
Okay. So you look at some controls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a wheel. It looks like a sort of oversized steering wheel that you might find on an automobile. Beyond the steering wheel, there's a lever that has something like a half moon style dial, and it seems to list certain words. These words are in Chinese. You're not certain what that means. You're certain what what one of them means is stop. You've seen that before.
Yep.
But you're not sure what the rest of them mean.
I turn the wheel to stop.
Okay.
We'll see if that does anything.
Mm-hmm. Turn the wheel to stop. Fantastic. So that's Drummond. So, Miss O'Shea, you can pick yourself up off the floor if you'd like. That is your entire action.
Yeah, I would like to, collect myself.
It's a little seaweedy here. Little, special. Jack, at the end of the room here, this space inside that you've come into, the table that is at the end of the opening that Mr. Drummond used to barricade things in is getting kicked in.
Right, well, then I will start shooting.
Okay.
3 shots.
Okay.
67 under 84. 37 under 84. And 4 under 84.
Okay. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to roll damage for me, and then we'll just call out each one, and then because of the barrier, they'll get some armor against the bullets.
Okay. That's 4 on the first one. 3 on the second one. 3 on the third.
Okay. Yeah, you light into the barrier as it's beginning to break down. You're making solid hits against one of these creatures, and you can hear it.
Was it impale, wasn't it? It was 4.
Yeah. So that last shot, you can tell enough of the wood broke away that you got a clean shot. From your vantage point, Doctor, now on the back of the ship, as you sort of pull yourself over at nearly full exhaustion, having climbed up, you see one of the backs of one of these creatures spray open with blood after hearing more gunfire. A pistol, which you're very familiar with the way it sounds.
Doc is going to secrete himself away at the back of the ship because the Doc hasn't secreted on the ship enough. So
hat tip to Mr. Fraser.
Thank you. And somewhere where the rampant crew, the fishmen's, and Jack's wild gunfire are not going to find him. So, so some small storage room or something, cargo-y area.
Sure.
And he's going to just listen for the gunshots to eventually completely stop. That's usually when it's either safe or shit's about to go down. And either way, he usually has to be there for that.
Yeah, I think the nice part about what you find is there's all sorts of boxes here at the back of the ship that you can easily just hunker down.
Oh, good.
As one might say, and easily give yourself cover.
Oh, good.
Yeah, along with all the body parts of all of the other ones that we split apart on the back of the ship while we were down there.
Doc is well versed in skating through viscera at this point.
So that's the Doctor's action. So, Mr. Drummond, at that door that you've locked, a figure appears and tries to slam it open with its body. It's going to make a strength roll in an attempt to do so. Yep, that's under its strength. So crashing through this door into the bridge is another powerfully built, I guess the easiest way to convey their appearance again is this sort of mongreled, hybridized human with scaly flesh and long beards, big fisherman's trench coat. This creature, this brown and darkened body comes in with a roar, breaking through the door, and it hefts a harpoon. And it appears that it's going to menace you with it.
3 rounds?
Yeah, certainly. Still have your action there.
First shot is a 30 under 55 or 45. Excuse me.
All right.
Second shot's at disadvantage, right?
It is. Technically, all of the shots are at disadvantage unless you have the talent that allows you to go over them, like Jack does.
31, because the other one was an 01.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a 12 or a 12. So, yeah, 3 hits.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's roll some damage, if you would. So for those of you, Jack, Miss Lane, and you, Miss O'Shea, you hear more gunfire from the front of the ship.
The first shot's a 10.
Okay.
The second shot is also a 10. And the third shot's a 9.
Wow. Yeah, so he comes through, bursting through the door with a harpoon, looking like he wants to go a-whaling, and you pump his guts full of lead, and he drops right there on the floor in this hideous mass of disgusting flesh, burbling and bleeding all over the deck. I think that's the first time you've successfully shot 3 things at once.
3 things at once, yes.
One thing 3 times.
Yeah.
Even at disadvantage. Congratulations to you. So that takes care of that for the moment. Miss Lane, it is now your action on round 3.
Do we still have guys breaking in the front door?
The one that...
Or the other door, the door that was barricaded?
Yes, and it looks like Jack is trying to handle them.
Okay. As he does. Do we have people coming in the back door?
Not anymore. You don't hear it anymore.
So I am going to obviously keep an eye on Sam, who is climbing down the ladder. Is there any other bodies or anything? Any other people walking around down there? Or are they all?
No, I mean, there's Sam. You could shoot him if you want.
No.
I mean,
That would be rude.
that would be rude.
It's on brand, though.
I am going to cover him while I'm climbing down the ladder.
That's a fantastic idea. So the area that the two of you are climbing down into, even with the torch you have, is not especially pleasant. The belly of this ship that you're climbing down into is dark. It's covered in what looks like seaweed, perhaps some sort of fungus that also rises through the ship here. At the far end, you think that there's there may be a gap, or there's some sort of doorway. It's hard to make out completely. But what dominates this space above any, and now dominates your hearing, is the diesel engine that's here, which is providing power to everything on the ship. Now, it does sound like it's beginning to wind down a little bit. You don't know why. But as you get to the bottom of the ladder, and Sam, as you're looking around, you don't see any other moving creatures down here, people or otherwise. There's a doorway right to your right as you get to the bottom of the ladder. So that is a space you could investigate more readily. Either that, or it's deeper into the diesel part of the engine room, where the diesel engine is churning.
Okay. Am I down the ladder yet?
You're coming down the ladder.
Okay.
So Sam, yes, continue your investigation.
So since I don't see anything moving, I will take a moment to kneel, and there's splatter everywhere, right, from all of the gunfire and everything. Okay. Then I will put 3 fingers down into one of the pools, and I will murmur a bit of a blessing to myself as I draw 3 lines on my cheek and ask Maman Brigitte for a bit of mental and physical assistance as I cast Earthly Sign on myself.
Okay. So what's it cost you?
3 MP.
Okay. And for our listenership, the benefits of it?
It will be no pain for 1 hour, 4 hit points, and any phobias and manias gone, and no sanity loss until it ends. Takes 1 round to cast.
Okay.
So that is what I am doing.
You feel protected, but you also feel something is wrong here. There's something that is not right with nature here. It's off. But a fantastic opportunity for you to do so. So below deck, above deck, Jack, you're still having people trying to come through.
And then I will continue to fire at them.
Please do.
That one misses. 89.
Oh.
One is 10. It's 83 under 87. So miss, impale, hit.
All right. So yeah, give us the impale and then the hit.
3 plus, was it 12? So
15. Yep. Effectively dropping one of them.
And 7.
Okay. From your position, Doctor, you do see one of the 2 men that are trying to get in fail and fall. The other one does finally come through, and he does make his way completely through the barricade now. He is wounded, but he is going to be taking his movement action just after Miss O'Shea has her action.
Well, I'm in a room off the hallway now, right?
Yeah, don't think of it as a full room, though. Think of it as you're in a coat closet.
Yeah.
That's about how big
or
it is.
A cubby.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in front of me is the trap door.
Yeah, just over there. You can see
Okay.
it's open.
And then Jack's at the other end.
So from where you're at, you would look to the right, back towards the way you came in. That's where Jack is.
Yeah.
And you can hear him continuing to fire
Okay.
as there's been this sort of a break sound, like a door broke.
But there's nobody coming in the other door.
No. That's the other door, the one Drummond went through. And then you heard a bunch of gunfire over there, and then heard a thud. But you haven't heard anybody else come through. It's a lot of gunfiring and thudding and screaming, and it's sort of sensory overload at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, because I am a close quarters fighter, so I'm not about to step in front of Jack. So I guess I will go the direction Drummond went. to see how he's doing, because I have full confidence that Sam and Lillian are fine because they're together. So
You step into the space where the bridge of the ship is, and you see Drummond, pistol in hand, smoking, and then one of these fishermen, for lack of a better term, is laid out face down on the floor, bleeding out all over the place.
I guess I'm going to look around and keep an eye out for any other creatures.
Okay. All right. Jack, a wounded fisherman comes towards you, harpoon in hand.
Well, I'm going to dodge.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. I like that. Ooh, 5. Under 89.
Yep. 5 is good. You dodge the first harpoon. It's about an 8-foot harpoon.
Yeah, I'm intimately aware of.
You are
familiar with that.
Yeah. He attempts to give you a new hole, and you decide not today, or at least not right now. Doctor, you watch as another one of these fishermen come up towards you, like in your direction, and instead of banking hard right to go into the space, he leaps off the ship and dives immediately into the water.
These are not even remotely human. You said this was a diesel ship?
Uh-huh.
For the moment, there's still a bit too much activity for Doc to step out because, well, frankly, he doesn't want to get pin-cushioned. So he's actually going to, back in his little cubby here, he's going to poke at a couple of these boxes and see exactly what they're hauling back here.
Sure, go right ahead. No roll is required, but you spend a little time. One of the things that you do find that's interesting is something that you've seen before, and that's a shipping label that labels them for Hofang warehouse.
Tuck that in my... I'm just going to go ahead and tuck that back here. Yeah, Doc busies himself poking about back here in these crates here, seeing exactly what they are hauling other than the things that obviously he knows, see what kind of surprises are here.
Mm-hmm. All right, you're going through some cargo.
Yep.
Miss Lane, you are down below deck. There is a door close by, and there is a relatively now quiet engine room, quieter than it was. In front of you, Sam is nearby, torch in hand, gun out.
I guess I will inquire to Sam about if we should go in the closed door or if he wants to proceed to the engine room. Kind of letting him take the lead on this since he's in front.
Are they okay up there? I don't want to get too far, but it sounds pretty quiet down here. I guess if I have the opportunity, I will yell, "Jack, Maeve, what's going on up there?"
Busy.
You barely hear that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I hear that at all.
You might hear it, actually, given the position that you're at. There's not a ton of room on the bridge. And so you're sort of standing in the doorway, and you hear Sam call from the bottom, and you hear Jack's return, but you doubt they hear each other.
I guess then, since I'm closer, I will yell down, "Jack's busy and I'm fine."
I shrug slightly, and I will gesture at the door.
Okay. I will open the door with one hand and point with my gun with the other, or my rifle with the other.
Okay. You go in, just a step, just seeing what's in there. And you see something that doesn't fit. And that is a very opulent bedroom. This has likely not been used very much by the crew because you don't see any of the same sort of telltale markings. You don't see the seaweed, the barnacles, the additional sort of environmentals that seem to be hanging around them. Beautiful rug, writing desk, massive bed, a huge bathroom.
I'm going to go rifle through the desk.
All right. You go rifle through the desk.
Careful, these people are notorious for poisoning and trapping their stuff.
The bedroom here is sort of something fantastic. doesn't fit anything else at all on the ship. And it does appear that the writing desk has been used before. Your pulse is still probably up quite a bit, Miss Lane.
That happens when you shoot and kill people.
Yeah, you getting used to it now?
Maybe a little too comfortable with it.
Mr. Drummond.
Mm-hmm.
Since we're still technically in rounds, because, of course, Jack has acquired more and more friends. He's a friendly sort of fellow.
People like me.
That's true. So, Mr. Drummond, Miss O'Shea is now nearby. You're seemingly clear. You can see out onto the deck here from the bridge, and you don't see any other figures moving on the front of the vessel.
Well, there's no point in trying to block the door. There's nothing left to block, basically.
Right. The door has been basically been battered in.
And there's probably nothing loose here anyways to put in front of the door anyhow.
Not a damn thing. Now, there are loose things out on the deck that you could move into position. You could probably find some lumber pieces out there to affix, left and right and bar the door a little bit, but that would take time you don't have.
I want to race back to where the shooting is going on in the back.
Okay.
We're just in full fireman mode.
Sure. All right, so you move past Miss O'Shea down the skinny hallway, and you see Jack being accosted by a fish man with a harpoon. You take a single shot if you'd like.
That's firing into melee, though, isn't it?
He's not in melee with him totally. It's an 8-foot stick, but, you would take likely a disadvantage die from the active engagement that's going on.
I can try anyways.
Sure.
Nope. The best I did was 74, and the worst I did was 84, so...
Okay, yeah, so
Yeah.
A shot goes past you a little bit. It spooks you just a second, but you're on top of it for the most part, Jack. So Sam, on your action, which we'll come to, what's up?
With Lillian going through the room, I will murmur to us, basically, since we're down here.
Mm-hmm.
This has got to be Penhue, right? Penhue's room? Penhue's room. This is his ship, right?
Yeah.
So this has got to be his space in here, because everything else is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like? So Lillian is just going through the stuff on the writing desk right now, right?
Well, she's entering the room. She hasn't actually actively gone to the desk, but she'll be able to do that on her next action if that's what she wants.
Okay. Then is there only the one door to the room?
Yeah.
Other than the bathroom?
Other than the bathroom, yeah.
Can I see into the bathroom?
Mm-hmm. If you stepped into the space, you would be able to see through he's got some kind of beaded curtain, you think? Something like that obscures. It's supposed to give privacy, but there's, little privacy given by that.
Then I will, just to be safe, I'll clear the bathroom. I'll make sure that there's nothing hiding in here that is going to jump out of nowhere. So if there's a closet or anything like that, I will definitely rip that open and point both barrels at some clothes.
Yeah, you do a thorough sweep of the bathroom, which also has a tub, by the way.
What the hell?
A very fancy tub.
Who is this guy?
That's a great question. But you're able to clear that room and make sure that Miss Lane isn't going to be snuck up on by any ne'er-do-wells.
Yeah, once I'm good there, I will just go back to the door and point the light out of the room. Is there a light in here that I could turn on?
There is a light in here you could turn on. Actually, there are two. There's a desk lamp in here, and there's a reading light near the bed. There's also an overhead light.
And I'll turn on the overhead light, because it's probably the one that's easiest for me to access.
Yeah, pull the chain and turn on the overhead light. There's a beautiful, floral patterned carpet on the floor.
These people, I swear.
It's a nice carpet. It ties the room together.
Yeah, I cover the door.
So, Jack, You have a myriad of options at your disposal, but one of them probably needs to be dealing with the fish man who's trying to harpoon you.
Yeah. So I'm going to light him up, as one does.
I mean, it seems sensible to me.
18, 74, and it's 92. So that didn't hit.
It did not, but it did not hit your mechanical failure either.
Yeah. So that's 8 on the first one, and 3 on the second one.
All right. Between the two, you put down this wounded target.
I always hated fish anyhow.
So for the moment, we are out of rounds. Doctor, the gunfire quiets.
Once the last shot goes off, Doc counts to 20 slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And once there are no more gunshots that go off, he very carefully leaves his hidey place. If he's found anything, he tucks it in his bag.
You have found something interesting, and that is that there is seemingly on this end of the ship as you walk towards it, there is a shipping, like a hold door in the floor here. You can see it's about 6x4 or whatever it is to put stuff into the ship's hold. There's a door right here. There's rope. There's a rope ladder nearby that looks like it probably gets dropped down in there.
It's open? The hatch is open, I assume?
Seems like it could be open.
Okay.
You don't see like a big hard fast lock attached to it.
All right. Well, Doc will work on the handle and try to open it from the side. Squeak. Look down into the, I assume, probably pretty damn dark.
Yes.
Okay.
Boxes. At least from what you can see.
Is there a perhaps a lantern hanging about, one of the ship's lanterns? Or I know this has electrical power on the ship. But
It is. It looks like, that might be one over there in this lifeboat.
good enough. I'll go over and grab it and then head down into the now slightly less darkened hold of the ship.
You head down. Sam and Lillian, the two of you are gonna inspect the desk and hang out in here. Okay. So, you begin to look at the desk. It looks like it was left sort of in media res as somebody was writing a letter. It's not completely finished. It's also not written in a language you rightly understand. But it's here. The desk itself has a drawer which is locked.
Is there any other paper? I grabbed the letter and I put it in my my pocket.
Okay.
Is there any other paperwork or anything?
No, but there is a extensive pipe holder. It's like a small rack that has 3 pipes on it. They're all well crafted. You smell tobacco here.
I grab one and put it in my other pocket. Give it to the doctor later.
Sounds like a reasonable idea. Mm-hmm. Sam, what are you doing?
I imagine if I will continue kind of looking over my shoulder occasionally at what Lillian is doing to make sure I don't hear any telltale signs of darts flying. And I will continue pointing the torch and the shotgun out of the door into the darkness of the ship.
Okay. Continue to point your torch out that way.
And I
Jack?
continue listening for, anybody, anything or anybody moving around down here.
Mm-hmm. Jack, Maeve?
I'm still chilling with Drummond, assuming he knows how to drive this boat, because he was like looking at the...
You're not really sure he does.
I have no idea. So I'm just keeping an eye out for movement.
I want to put the lever back where I found it at,
Okay.
in that position.
You crank things up tick, 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 a little bit, and you crank it up to where it was, and you feel the vessel churn. Those of you who are in the bottom hear the diesel engine rev up, and the amount of sound pressure in this room, like in the space nearby, begins to go up. You can hear the bottom of the boat shake a little bit.
Whoa,
rumble.
what the hell?
I feel myself like leaning backwards
Well, yeah, you
because the ship's moving forward.
you bet. Something's going on, it seems.
Sway back and forth on the ladder as I climb to. Whoa!
I will run back to the ladder.
Yep, you run back the ladder. It's not far.
What's going on up there? We're moving.
That's what you do in boats.
I'm just like looking at him like, I hope you know what you're doing.
You're not sure that he does. But how hard can it really be?
Yeah, I mean, there's a giant wheel. You just pointed at
Was that you?
Yes.
Drummond's a sailor. I will say to Lillian as I go back to the room.
Doctor, why don't you make me a listen roll?
Would love to. 51 under 68.
You hear boots on a wood deck, but not above you. So you sort of lower yourself into the hole with this lantern, and you're climbing down the rope ladder carefully, because of course you've got a lantern in your hand and you don't want to make a mess of things. And as you're swaying back and forth with the ship movement and you're making that next movement with your legs, and you just barely touch down on the wood floor here in the shipping area, you hear these boots walking on the deck. Walking on wood, there's a thump to them. Each one, careful, plodding movement. You hear the creak of a wooden door. And stepping into your room, bringing its own light, is sort of this malevolent green figure.
Son of a bitch. Malevolent green figure.
Yeah, it's like some of the other fishmen that you've seen, but it's riddled with green veins along its neck that sort of trace their way up the sides of its cheek and arc around its eyes. It's wearing a vest, a traditional sailor's vest, and on the lower half of its body, it wears what look like breeches that are cut so that way they can flow, like they're not actually sewn completely together.
Sure. The legs are probably pretty prestigious, so it needs room to move about.
Yes.
Okay.
And the vest is worn because clearly the arms are a little oversized for the space.
Okay. All right. So it has almost more of a simian build, though it is more fish person.
Yeah.
Okay.
This fish person looks like it works out.
Oh, good. Does it see me?
Oh,
Okay.
undoubtedly.
All right. Well, then I will make no effort to hide whatsoever, as it clearly sees me already. I will regard it as an equal.
Interesting choice.
I put the lantern down onto the side with no duplicity, just very carefully keeping my eye on it. I give it a nod, like a greeting nod.
You see the exposed portion of its chest has scales, as you likely would expect. The exposed portion of its biceps and its shoulders are not just green, but there's also there's a redness to them, and there's almost a brown, like they carry burns.
Okay, so scar tissue, if you will. Probably recent scar tissue.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. One way to put it is that their flesh in certain areas is sort of puffed up and carries these very red portions. Almost portions of them are also a little swollen.
Sure. Not up to it. I'm not trying to get in its face or anything, but at a distance, a comfortable conversational distance. But outside of the immediate grasp of its large gorilla clawed-like arms.
Certainly.
That Goldilocks zone, if you will.
Yes.
Plant the cane. Guten Tag.
Its mouth moves in a method which reveals at one point it could speak the human tongue.
Now it's more chewing the sounds than anything.
Yeah. It looks like it has to sort of muscle up to begin to speak to you.
I assume you were once a man. No judgment. Not looking down on it, just more of a curiosity.
It breathes the air towards you, sort of inhales.
Doc pulls a pipe out of his coat. Lights a match. Tamps the pipe twice. Breathes the pipe smoke back at the... Now, do you wish to speak like civilized people? Or shall I treat you like an animal?
It grabs for your throat.
It grabs for my throat?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
You may dodge if you would like.
I would like to. Yes, please. It is an 81 over my 27 for my dodge.
Okay. So I will, with this maneuver,
Sure.
and with the additional advantage dice of having build on you, he will grapple you.
Okay.
And by grappling you, he grabs you by the throat. And he pulls you very close. And he says one intelligible human word in English. He says, dinner.
Well, poo.
And then he lets out an enormous roar that fills the belly of the vessel, reverberating along the hull and up through the floorboards, which is undeniable for anyone to hear. And we'll hear what happens next week. So thank you for joining us on this episode of Masks of Nyarlathotep. We greatly appreciate your listening ears. Thank you, and good night.